Okay, uh, we are moving towards the topic of windows and doors, and within the same topic you will find the example for roadworks as well. I will come to it. So, for windows and doors, they can be subdivided into these four items. Windows, obviously, windows. But then they can be, doors can be internal or external, because in many cases the external doors are very different from the internal doors, right? Okay, even if you look at this, all these buildings, you will not find this type of external doors, right? Okay, so in most of the buildings, even the villas, the internal and external doors are different, so they can be treated differently. And then we have the blank opening, so it's just an opening without any door. Okay, something which you have like maybe in your lounge or living room or something, right? Just for the purpose of decoration or something. Okay, and if the doors are of the same type, you can merge them together, no problem. Okay, so the distribution of doors is not mandatory. Then windows can be made up of different materials. Okay, so they can be timber window, metal, or PVC window. PVC means what? Which material is called PVC? PVC. Huh? PVC is sort of a plastic. Okay, it's sort of a plastic. Okay, so it's made up of. Sorry. Unplasticized. Like you are not even reading it correctly. Anyways. Polyvinyl chloride. Okay. Anyways. So it's sort of a plastic. Okay, but obviously windows will be subjected to weather, right? Heat and sun and water. So we cannot use the normal plastic. Okay, so the plastic which you see, this one, okay, so this cannot be put on windows directly. Okay, this will get damaged in days. So we use another type of plastic, and then windows can be made up of glass as well, or you may use glass within the window. It's very common, right? All windows have some portion of glass. So the first part is related to the frame of the window. The second one is what you normally find in the window, which is the glass part. Okay, then we have the ironmongery, which is anything which is made up of metal and it is installed with the windows or the doors. Okay, so ironmongery is maybe the lock, handle. Okay, so you can see the items here. All of them are under ironmongery, and obviously if they are not included in the first item. And then we have the decorative items, and it can change. Okay, but if you go to NRM 2, you will find the sections, a section for decoration and section for doors and windows. Okay, when we were calculating the quantities for plaster, block work, okay, did we subtract the doors and windows or not?
No.
We didn't. Okay, so after you calculate the quantities of doors and windows, then you go back and make the adjustments in the quantities of block and paint and plaster and these things. Okay, so I already gave you the example. It's like backfilling. So you cannot calculate backfilling if you do not calculate the quantity of material under the substructure. Okay, because backfilling is whatever is remaining. Same principle goes here. If you did not calculate the quantities of doors and windows correctly, you cannot make these adjustments accurately. Got it? Okay, so that's why we do it in this sequence. Okay, so what are we going to adjust? Already mentioned brickwork or block work, whatever type of wall you have, and all internal finishes. Now, what is included in internal finishes? Tell me. Skirting, yes. Huh? Painting.
Flooring also?
No. Yeah, it's included in internal finishes. Yes, it is included, but we don't need to make the adjustment for flooring, because I already mentioned under the door you have normal flooring. Yes. Yes, you were saying something? Plaster. Okay, so all these items must be adjusted. These are the common items: skirting, blockworks, paint and plaster. But if you have other items which you know, okay, then you need to make the adjustments. Okay, yeah, support to the windows above the support, adjustment for support above the windows. Okay, now window, is it a load taking item or non-load taking item? Window, non-load, right? Huh? Sorry? Yeah, it's self-load, right? Even its self-load goes onto the window, sorry, the wall and downwards, right? But it is not supposed to take the structural load. Okay, they are not made for that. So you need to provide an item above the window which will protect it from taking the load. Okay, so they call it sill. Okay, I will show you later on. But you need a supporting item above the window. If you put normal blocks above the window, it will transfer the load like the load of the wall. Okay, so it will transfer the load coming from the wall, the blocks of the wall, downward on the window itself. Okay, so we need to put a slab, a small slab, which will take the load and transfer it sideways, not on the window. Okay, so that means what? The blocks above the window will also be adjusted. Okay, because you will not use normal blocks there. Okay, damp proofing and finishes for the frame. Okay, so this is a window, and under the window it's an opening, so you need to put the damp proofing and so on and so forth. Wherever there is an opening or a joint in the wall, you need to protect it. Okay, so damp proofing and finishes. Okay, same thing for internal and external openings. Reveals means openings. Okay, the ones which are without the doors and windows. And cells I already mentioned. Okay, so you need to provide the adjustments for the top and bottom. Sill means the top and bottom of the window. Okay, external doors. So all these items must be adjusted for external doors and internal doors as well, and same. Okay, so all adjustments are required for doors and windows. All types of doors, all types of windows, and even for openings as well. When you are preparing the schedule for doors and windows, this schedule means the list. Okay, so you have to make a checklist. Okay, and this checklist should have a numbering. Okay, so you, first of all, the thing which you do is prepare a list for doors and windows for in your building, and that list you prepare a code. Okay, somebody wants to know which window you are talking about, he will pick the code and he can go in the drawing and see which door or window you are talking about. I hope the link works. Showing the words but not showing the, oh my god. Anyway, supposed to show a plan which has the labels for doors and windows. You can see the how they are labeling it. So they are following a specific notation. So if this is your plan, and you have windows here, okay, I name this as window 1, window 2, window 3, window 4. Okay, on the top floor, same. Okay, so we are going what? Clockwise, right? Okay, and we started from where? From the left hand side, top. So on the other floor, same. For the doors, same. D1, D2. Okay, so we have to follow the notation. So if somebody knows your notation, and I can look at the number of the window, I can go in the plan and I know where is this window. Okay, so you need to make a checklist, and the checklist should be following a specific notation, a sequence. Okay, same thing for the doors. You can make the numbering for the doors and windows same, but the blank openings and they can be included as well. Okay, what else? Yeah. So when you are preparing this checklist, then you need the elevation of the building. Okay, the elevation of the building will tell you where are the doors and windows. Okay, these are the items which are normally included in the elevation of the building. Okay, yeah. A check, a very simple check, and you can use it for your term projects as well, that you keep the total number. Okay, so I count how many windows and doors I have. Okay, and once you prepare your list, you don't have to check one by one. Okay, W1, where is it? W2, where is it? So if there are 20 windows, it will take a long time, right? Okay, but if there is 20 here and 20 here, I'm 99% sure there is no mistake, right? Clear or not? Instead of checking one by one, you can make a complete check, and if complete check is fine, move ahead. If it is not fine, then you go and check where is the mistake. Got it? Same thing can be done for columns, for beams, for footings. So you would take a number first of all, and then when you prepare the list, you check the total number. Okay, this is what I counted from the drawing, and this is what I have in my list. Okay, if the total is matching, you are more than sure that I didn't make any mistake. Okay, and you can move on. Clear? Okay, so the check can be for the total. Okay, what else? Yeah, so the common mistake is sometimes we have what we used to call ventilators. And like when I was studying, we used to call them ventilators. They are calling it clerestory windows, meaning they are windows near the slab, near the roof, small windows. Okay, just for passing of the air. They don't have for view or something, so they are very high. Okay, so these windows are not normally shown in the plan because they are very high, right? We cut the plan somewhere in the middle. So if you are cutting the plan, your section is in the middle and the window is here, you will not see it in the plan. Got it? Okay, and some cases there is a window, normal one, and on top of the window you have this clerestory window as well. There are two. Okay, so there are more chances that you can miss them, or for example mezzanine floors, you may completely miss the mezzanine floors, so all the items of the mezzanine floors can be missed. Okay, the schedule should try to include the details of each and every window to avoid missing any item. Okay, and yeah, with each item you can mention how many times it is repeated in the drawing or how many times it is shown in the drawing. Okay, then we have windows like this. They call them dormer windows. Okay, the one which you see like triangle. Okay, so again they are not normal. They are very high and they are not normal. So in case of these windows, the window itself may be taken with the other windows. Okay, and the adjustment of the roof can be normally be taken with the roofs. Okay, so this window, the dormer window, needs adjustment in the roof itself. Okay, it's part of the roof. So you can make the adjustment later on. Okay. Yeah. A very good practice which they have mentioned. Again, you can do it for your projects as well and the exam as well. If there are many items and they are almost the same. Okay, they are almost the same. But maybe one or two items have some slight difference between them. So you have many walls and all of them are of the same height. Okay, but there is one wall which has, let's say, 0.5 meter less height. Okay, or 0.5 is too much. Let's say 200 millimeters less height. So what you will do, you will take all all walls same, or all windows same. Then for this one item, you can make an extra addition or extra deduction. Okay, because of this small item, do not take each and everything separately, because it will increase the work a lot. If I have 10 windows, only one of them is a small deduction. Okay, so I will do the calculation for 12 of them complete together. Then I will do one deduction for the small window. Alright? Okay. If you don't do this, what you will do? Because of this window, you will do 10 calculations now, because you have to take each one separately. Okay. So this can be done. Yeah. So they have given an example here. All windows have glazed clear glass, except for a small proportion which has a patterned glass. Okay. So you combine all these windows together. For this one portion, you will subtract the glazed glass and you will add the patterned glass for this small portion later on in the end. Okay, but for rest of the work, they are all same. Okay, so you will calculate the items together. Okay, so normally the frames are made up of timber, metal, or unplasticized PVC, plasticized PVC. Okay, and you can count them with numbers. The frames and the doors and the windows, they can be counted. Okay, so how many doors? Because they will come in sets, right? It will not be like, okay, give me one frame of this by this. Okay, the frame will come complete. He will not bring one rod and two rods. Okay, so you can count them with numbers, or you can just make the reference to the. When you are counting them in numbers, you should attach a diagram so they know what type of frame you are talking about. Okay, or if you have a supplier who will supply you these doors and frames for doors and windows, then you can refer to the catalog of this supplier. That catalog, item number, this and this. Okay, so anybody can go and check what you are talking about. Okay, but this will only work if you have a specific supplier, because different suppliers, they don't have the same catalog. If you have noticed, even for the same item, they make some changes for marketing purposes. Okay, the method of fixing must be shown unless you don't care. Do it anyway. I just want my window. Okay, bolt it, nail it. Okay, whatever you want to do. Put it with a glue. I don't care. Okay, otherwise you should mention it. Okay, timber window boards and cover fillets are measured as linear items. So if you have timber frame, then you will provide the linear measurements for that. And cross section, obviously we already discussed that when you are mentioning length, then cross section goes in the description. Okay, and the labor charges are included in all of them. Okay, so there are no labor charges separately. Okay, yeah, for the glass, again, the manufacturer can have specifications for the glass. So you cannot just go and cut glass of any type, any size. Okay, you may have some available sizes, so you can refer to the catalog. Okay, otherwise, if you are not doing this, then you can measure the area. Obviously, you can measure the area of the glass, and the area of the glass should be measured after deducting the frame. Okay, so you can see the window, there the frame, and then the glass is inside, right? So you deduct the frame, and mullions is something which we use for fixing the glass. So all these things must be deducted. Okay, if you have so this is straight. If you have a curved glass, okay, or some sort of shape in the glass, okay, then it should be included within your specification. Okay. Yeah, if you have a double glazed glass, okay, so there are two sheets of glasses, okay, then you have to put the numbers. Okay, two glasses of this type. Got it? Ironmongery, I already mentioned. Handles, locks, anything which is made up of. So these stoppers which you see on the top, they are all part of ironmongery. And if not supplied with the windows, then you will again give them as numbers. Okay, 4 locks, 5 stoppers, and so on and so forth. Okay, the description, again, you can refer to the supplier's catalog. Okay, and it is sometimes easy to include a total sum for the supply of these items. Okay, so for supply of all ironmongery items, this is the sum. Okay, instead of writing each and every number. Okay, for all locks and all handles and this much. Okay, we have 500 BDs. Okay, and that's it. Okay, decoration is measured as a superficial item, so it is not part of the doors and windows, something separate. Okay, and the measurements can be taken, it depends upon what type of decoration you have. Okay, the description would be for decoration to glaze surfaces irrespective of the size of the pan. So when you are measuring the decoration, it will not be according to the size of the window or the size of the glass. Okay, it will be something separate. Okay, yeah, these measurements should include any paint items, okay, any extra frame, any cutting which you are doing, because this is not part of the window. Okay, this is not part of the window. So you are giving you gave the quantities of window, and then there is decoration on the window. Even if it is of the same size, you have to calculate and show it separately. Okay, it will not be taken, because without decoration your window is complete. So the contractor can install and fix the window without decoration, no problem. Okay, if you do not mention it in the bill. Okay, and priming means it's a paint, it's a coat of paint. Okay, a layer of paint, that is called as priming, and you may do it before fixing the frame. Okay, and it gives adhesion, helps you with the fixing of the frame. Okay, and this can be measured as a linear item if the width is not more than 300 millimeters. Okay, for openings, I already mentioned the deduction in the, let me make it bigger. Okay, after making the adjustment, you have to consider the perimeter of the opening, because you have to put the paint and plaster on the perimeter. Okay, because now it is open, it doesn't have a door or a window, so you have to now take care of it. Okay, you again, on top of the opening, you may use a slab, they are calling it lintel. Okay, so lintel is an item which you put over openings, doors and windows to support the load coming over it, to save the doors and windows and openings from taking the structural load. So these lintels can be precast or they can be in situ. Okay, precast meaning they will prepare and bring it. In situ means you will put them on the site. Okay, you will mix the concrete and put them on the site. If they are precast, you can measure them in terms of numbers. I need 4 lintels, 5 lintels. Okay, if they are in situ, then they are same as concrete. Okay, because you need the mixing and the placement in it. So they can be taken as beams, like you take beams. Okay, they are small beams. Okay, the brickwork, these lintels, as I already mentioned, if you have an opening, you are putting this lintel. So lintel will replace the blocks, right? So the blocks, in this area will also need to be adjusted. Okay, damp proofing courses I already mentioned. Okay, what else? Yeah, sometimes you may use steel lintels as well, and then steel lintels are fixed cross sections. Okay, steel items have fixed cross sections, not the steel which we use in the concrete. If you have a steel member, a steel beam or a steel column, then you have to follow the manufacturer's description, the sizes. Okay, so you cannot just buy it in any size; they are fixed. If you have some lining in these openings, okay, because they are for decoration, right? Openings without doors and windows is just for aesthetics, okay. So if you have something on the perimeter, then you will measure it as a linear item, okay. Any decoration done or anything which is done, you will measure it as linear item, okay. The plaster to the edges, if it is not exceeding 300 millimeter, you can measure it again linear, okay. The plaster to the edges, if it is not exceeding 300 millimeter width, you can measure it as linear item. What else? Yeah. So if you have an opening, if this is your opening, these are called as jambs. The sides are called as jambs. Okay, so jambs are the sides. Okay, so if you have these jambs, you may have a cavity wall. We know about cavity wall, right? What is the cavity wall? Yeah, so we have two walls now. Okay, so if you make the opening, you have some space, right? Now you have to close this space as well. Okay, so if you have a cavity wall at the jambs, you may have to close this space as well, and this space closing this can be measured as a linear item. Okay, precast concrete scissors downward. Okay, the bottom of the opening, or the bottom of the window, or the bottom of the door. Okay, if you are using precast concrete there, then you will measure it in the same way as the precast lintels. Okay, the face work to cells is measured with a linear item. So if you are doing any plaster work, paint work to the sill, you can measure it as a linear item. Okay, so this is a window which has, you can see 3 panels here. Okay, and these are different sections. So this is section BB. Which one is section BB? This one is section BB. This one is section AA for the same window. And you can see some items here. First of all, they have prepared a list. Okay, now you can see this is the entire list for one window. Okay, because we are only doing example of one window. But if there are many windows, you will write the numbers. Okay, this window how many times? So we have to calculate the wood, the frame, the board, the glazing, the paint to windows, paint to window board, adjustments, lintel, cavity tray, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a complete item. You can see which part of the NRM deals with these items. Okay, so mainly section 14, 28 and 29 and 23 as well. So you can see there are many sections here. Okay, for items related to the window. Okay, the first thing is the window itself, the frame. It is measured as 1 means what? 1 meter? What is this 1? Number of windows, 1. Okay, and the 20 you write 20. So we are measuring them as numbers. Okay, then we have the frame. Okay, if you go, frame is this into this. Okay, frame is this and this, right? Okay, so this is measured and this is measured, the width and the height. Okay, so 2 sides, top and bottom, that's why I multiply by 2. Okay, for the frame, 2 sides and top and bottom. Okay, .48, yeah. So 1.4 is the height. Okay, so now we are talking about the softwood board. Okay, so with the window we are going to put the softwood board at the bottom. Okay, and which we will measure as linear item. It's according to the length. Okay, but if the window is 1.4, okay, the board will not be 1.4, it will go into the wall, okay, for better connection. Okay, so 1.4 is the width of the window plus 0.038, which is, I believe, mentioned here somewhere. 0.038 was the size of the frame. It was mentioned somewhere, I believe. Anyways, if this is your window, okay, then according to the size of the frame, your board will extend into the window. Okay, so this is, where is it? This one. So 0.038 is the width of the frame. Okay, the thickness of the frame. Okay, so again both sides, 0.038 here, 0.038 there. Okay, so this is how we are getting the size of the wooden board. Yeah, these are the deductions, adjustments. Adjustments are according to the size of the window, right? Okay, an adjustment will be in the block work, in the paint, in the plaster, and so on and so forth. So you can see the items in which the adjustments are made for this window, for this one window. Okay, so adjustment in the facing of the wall, some item, obviously this is not the complete example, so what facing is something there. Adjustment in the cavity, so it's a cavity wall. Okay, so we have an item for cavity. Cavity insulation, I told you earlier, when you have a cavity wall you cannot just leave it, so there is insulation as well. So deduction in the insulation, deduction in block work, deduction in plaster, deduction in paint. Okay, all according to the size of the window. The window is 1.4 into 0.78, 1.4, 0.78. So all these items are deducted according to the size of the window. Okay, this is, I believe, some more adjustments. Okay, now this is the lintel. What was lintel? What is the lintel? Yeah, it was to carry out the load. Okay, so we will put it over the window. Okay, we will put the lintel over the window. Okay, so the width of the window is 1.4. Okay, so 1.4 must be covered, right? Okay, and then you will put it inside the, like you will extend it so that the load can be transferred, otherwise it will not transfer. Okay, so they are it is transferred, it is going into the wall 150 millimeter on one side, 150 millimeter on the other side. Okay, so the lintel, the size of the window, plus 150 millimeter on one side, 150 millimeter on the other side. Okay, and this is, I believe, according to the size of the wall, the thickness of the wall. Okay, so this is 1.4 plus 150 millimeter extension, both sides, total 300 millimeter extension, total length of the lintel 1.7. Okay, now what is this one? What is one? Only one lintel, because only one window. Okay, so why did we calculate the size? You can see the complete size in the description. So this means it is what type of lintel? When I put 1 here instead of the I can write 1.7 plus 1.7 into 0.1 into 0.15. I didn't write the quantity, right? I just write the number. So that means it is what type of lintel? Precast. Okay, so this is precast lintel. And yeah, so there is lintel. On top of the lintel they are putting a sheet of steel for the cavity. Okay, so they are blocking the space of the cavity, so there will be lintel and they will be covering on the lintel, okay, to protect the concrete. Okay, so the same size of this, both of them will be same size as the lintel itself. Okay, plaster work to concrete was not exceeding, I believe this is underside of the lintel. Okay, so plaster to the underside of the lintel. Okay, because you will fix the window there, right? So you need the lintel to be having smooth surface. What about the side of the lintel? They are only calculating the plaster at the bottom of the lintel. What about the side? And what about the paint? And what about the... So I'm putting, this is my window. This is my window. And on top of the window there is the lintel. So they are only calculating at the bottom. Plaster at the bottom. What about this? What happened to this one? We already did it with the wall. This part of the wall, right? So the lintel, face, plaster and paint already in the wall. Did we deduct it? We didn't deduct it. What more one? Okay, we didn't deduct it when we are deducting the things. Okay. So plaster, and then you have the paint again. Where did it go? Yeah. The paint, the plaster, everything. Different page. Okay, so you have the plaster at the bottom, you have the board of steel, and then you have the emulsion paint. Okay, all at the bottom of the lintel. Okay, and then you have the closing of the cavity on the sides. Okay, two, right? Yes. Closing of the cavity on the sides. The cavity was, you have to close the cavity on the sides as well. Okay, cavity at the bottom already closed with the lintel, right? So now you have to close the cavity on the sides as well. So on the sides, we are taking the height only. Okay, 0.78 is the height of the window. Okay, then we have the DPC. Okay, the damp proofing. Again, because there is an opening, so now you have to do the damp proofing so that there is no water penetration from this opening. Okay, so again you have the two sides. Okay, and then you have what? So 2 into 0.78 is the sides, and 0.1 is what? Sorry? Thickness of walls. Is there anything 0.1 here? Cavity is mentioned. No, but it's taken linear. Point 1 for the lintel, sorry. For the lintel. Lintel is 100 millimeters. Okay, so 0.78 for the window, and this is 0.1. Okay, you have to close the cavity from the sides as well where the lintel is coming. Okay, where am I? Okay, the same thing which we did for the top, again for the sides, the plaster for the sides, okay, and the steel for closing the opening, and what else? For the sill is the bottom, okay, so lintel is the top and sill is the bottom, okay, so you have at the bottom a concrete slab, a precast concrete slab of this size, okay, you can see the length is same as before. The length of sill is same as the length of the lintel. Okay. What else? Yeah. So now you have the deduction in the brick wall for the lintel now. Okay. This is for the lintel. Okay. And what else? And deduction for, no, only deduction here. Okay. So half brick wall will be deducted. So it's a cavity wall. You only deduct one part of the cavity wall where the window is. Okay, and what else? Again, you have the the sheet of steel, okay, at the bottom because of the opening. Okay, any questions? Okay, now tell me, you guys covered